Around 4.5 years later, in the final meeting of the semester, which is today, Christmas, here I am again, delivering my C10 speech. A C10 speech is a last speech in the content communication track of Toastmasters International. Here, I would like to seize it as a chance to wrap up my experience in Toastmasters and also talk about my one last assignment in this club. The most impressive moment for me in this club started as I became an officer. I started as an EVP deputy and then the EVP and finally the president in the year 2013 spring. I devoted myself completely. During the time, I established the mentor-mentee platform, initiated the professional club, and I abandoned the agenda on PTT in order to make place for a new sales system, which a brilliant senior member, Amy, who is actually here, gave us her greatest support and help design the brand new online sales system you use today. Let's give her a round. I wrote a 10-page EVP team SOP for future EVP teams. I also finished a club profile that helped Toastmasters won the Distinguished Club Award in the NTU Azalea Festival. Finally, with the help of Bill, Joyce, Jason, and 60 other club members, we finished a 14-minute music video under the name Homeward in order to wrap up the 6 generations at the time. The time was crazy, but I was happy. During the process, I got to know so much more about myself, much more than I ever had done. I found out what I'm good at, which lies not in innovation, but lies in the improvement to pursue exclusiveness. I also discovered that I cannot tolerate anyone being left out. Therefore, while I had the biggest officer team of 32 people in history, I carry out a policy that no one can be invisible. I also found that I like the idea of everyone gathering together to see the smiles on friends' faces. So I started to hold activities and parties to make members in the present and past to come together as one. So far, I have held 29 non-official activities so far. The biggest one being the graduation trip to Lanyu, and the most recent one being the Halloween party just 2 months ago. Many people have asked me how to stay enthusiastic all along the way, especially beside the heavy schoolwork or other personal duties. For this, I have 2 suggestions for you. The first one, find your place in a web of mutual support. A very great part of my passion comes from the closest friends around me, whom I refer to as the silver and gold for life in my C7 speech. And you know what? You can find the power in this club even in your tiniest wish. For example, after my officer's end of term celebration, 干部庆功宴, I made one wish to my friends. I said that my only wish now was that we, the B00 generation, could stick together and accompany each other till we all graduate, just like our previous generation. To my surprise, those are the words that one of my friends remembered the most till today. So do not underestimate your power to others, because you can be the source of secureness, that you can tell your friend you will be rooted here, and so will you, and by doing so, you are not alone. Second, time is limited, and there's so much to learn. So I would suggest you to make plans in here. Set up goals, set up deadlines for each of the goals, and stick to them. We learn most in where we put ourselves most deeply into, and that's a fair exchange. I've already found myself having moments after moments slipping through my fingers all the time, but I'm happy to say that I have no regret. And now I would like to tell you about my last assignment in this club. 1,546 days are my tiny NQ Toastmasters. 1,546 days. As time flies, And then a glimpse, I'm about to graduate. And yet, I'm so amazed that it could be long enough to connect all the glorious memories. All the glorious memories. But I must move on. But how? What about now? During the past 4.5 years, I have been the new officer. I have been the new members, the officers, the presidents, and then I retired. I become a mentor and SGD instructor and a senior member, so-called Lauren, in the club. And now, what about now? To answer this question, I would like to tell you a story of mine. When I was 8 to 12 years old, I studied in an elementary school called Victoria Academy. That school was everything to me. I loved the place. I adored my classmates and teachers. That place was like home. As graduation drew near, most of my classmates decided to go directly into Victoria High School. I couldn't because of some other plans made by my parents. So I started to feel really anxious, for I didn't know what would become of me if I left the place that I was so familiar with, that I was so deeply in love with. So unsurprisingly, I encountered great difficulty to blend in my junior high school, and that led to some problems during my high school life. So, I know that I must move on, but I stick to the place a lot more, too much. I wasted too much time that I should use it to get accustomed to get used to my new life. From then on, I know this is something I need to deal with in my personality. I lean on the place, or to be precise, lean on the person I love to know who I am. If I leave the place, I feel insecure and helpless, just like the teenage me, curling in a new school, wanting desperately so much for the time to go back. But life must go on, and there will be changes. And changes are good. They are just sometimes hard. I love NT Toastmasters very much, and there's no comparison to that. Nowhere else can replace it. Nowhere else can serve as the witness to all my growth all these years, and nowhere else comes the most important friends I got during my university life. The circle of life, or the circle of a club in this case, contains still one key element, that is stepping down. I need to know that I will be fine after I step into my next stage of life after graduation. I need to know that NTUTM will indeed serve as a strength in me, within me, that I can bring with me wherever I go as a mature individual. This is my final assignment in this club. And how? How am I going to do that? By believing that this club will be fine without me. I remember that 2 years ago, there was a senior member who devoted herself very much in the club and who was about to leave. She said to me, "Claire, I count on you about this place." I also remember 2 years ago, on the night of my presidential election, another senior member came to my side while my votes were being counted. He said, "Look at the votes, Claire. Remember, those are the ones who trust in you, who trust in you as to give NTU Toastmaster in your hand. Remember that." I kept my promise. I fulfilled the promise and passed down the promise. I have witnessed 5 more presidents after me who have all fulfilled their trust. And now it's my turn to say to you, all of you, I count on you, protect this place. I will move on by letting go, just like what a mother would do to a child. There will always be problems and troubles, but a new generation strive all along the way. I will move on by believing that there will always be people like me, who love NTU Toastmasters, who are always willing to make it move on, and who will always make sure that it falls in the trustworthy's hand. Because believing will be what makes me move on. That the place I love will be and always will be fine without me. Upon my future journey, my own future journey in the future, I will bring what I got and learn in NTU Toastmasters with me. Someday, sometime, when I come back, I know I will be, I believe I will be, and always will be homeward bound. Toastmasters will be.
It was so touching. I can't stop crying in my mind. You know, it was so touching. Well, what's more, Claire has always been a great supporter when all of